Marcus leaned back in his office chair, his eyes settling on the photographs that dotted his mahogany desk. Each image marked a milestone in his life, symbols of the hard work that had led to his incredible wealth and success. But tonight, his mind wasn't on his achievements, nor the business empire he'd built. Tonight, his focus was on something far closer to home, his son Lucas. Recently, Lucas had started dating someone new, a young woman named Anna. From the few mentions Lucas had made, Anna was bright, beautiful, and from a very different world than the one Marcus now occupied. Despite his status, Marcus had always believed in approaching relationships with sincerity and authenticity. If Lucas was bringing someone into his life, Marcus wanted to meet her without the filter of wealth and influence that tended to distort people's behavior around him. And that's where the idea had taken root. He would meet Anna, but not as Marcus Davenport, the wealthy businessman with a mansion and multiple companies to his name. Instead, he'd meet her as a gardener on his own estate. The thought had struck him as ridiculous at first, but the more he considered it, the more he liked it. Marcus wanted to see who Anna truly was, unguarded and unfiltered by his status, to understand if she loved his son for who he was, not for his last name or potential inheritance. And if that meant spending a few days blending into the background as a gardener, he was willing to do it. Marcus couldn't help but smirk as he began thinking through the details. He'd need an old pair of jeans, maybe some work boots, and a faded shirt. He wanted to make precisely the wrong impression. If this plan was going to work, he needed to look like anything but the powerful man he was. This idea wasn't just about satisfying his curiosity. It was about ensuring Lucas's happiness and protecting him from anyone with shallow intentions. Marcus knew all too well how money could bring out the best and worst in people. It could lead to generosity and kindness, but also to envy, greed, and exploitation. After working so hard to build a life of integrity and honesty, he couldn't bear the thought of Lucas being used by someone who only saw dollar signs. As he thought about Lucas, Marcus felt a pang of nostalgia. He remembered his son as a young boy, so full of life and innocence. Lucas had grown into a thoughtful, responsible young man, but Marcus couldn't ignore his son's trusting nature, especially when it came to matters of the heart. Lucas had dated before, but none of his relationships had endured. Over the years, Marcus had come to realize what he most wanted for his son: to find someone who would love Lucas for the man he was, not the life he'd inherit. Resolved, Marcus began gathering what he'd need. He rummaged through his closet, eventually pulling out an old pair of jeans he hadn't worn in years but kept for sentimental reasons. Next came a plain, faded t-shirt with small stains and frayed edges, perfect for blending in. A quick search through his garage yielded an old, battered cap he'd once worn on a camping trip with Lucas. He smiled at the memory, grounded again in the purpose behind this plan. The next morning, Marcus practiced his role in front of the mirror. He adjusted his posture, letting his shoulders slump slightly, and rehearsed speaking in a lower, gruff tone. His goal was to make himself blend in, a man who wouldn't attract much attention, let alone suspicion. He was stepping out of the spotlight he'd been in for so long, becoming simply Marcus, a gardener. Later that day, Marcus made arrangements with the head groundskeeper to expect a new temporary gardener. No one on the staff knew the full plan. He made it clear that discretion was paramount. By the time the arrangements were finalized, he felt a strange combination of excitement and apprehension. At precisely 9 the next morning, Marcus slipped out of the mansion, entering through the estate side gate where the staff typically gathered. With his hat pulled low over his face, he kept his head down, listening to the soft murmurs and light bustle around him. He was about to meet the woman his son was falling for, not as the powerful Marcus Davenport, but simply as Marcus the gardener. Tomorrow, he'd see the real Anna, the girl who had won his son's heart. The day had arrived, and Marcus found himself stepping onto the grounds of his own estate, but for the first time, not as its owner. With his head low and his hat casting a shadow over his face, he became Marcus the gardener. The familiar estate took on a new perspective. He noticed how the landscaping flourished from every corner, how the hedges were perfectly pruned, and how the flowers seemed to reach for the sun in full bloom. Even the smallest details took on new meaning now that he was looking at them through the eyes of someone blending into the background. "Mr. Marcus," a voice called out, breaking his thoughts. He turned to see Maria, the head housekeeper, looking a bit surprised. Just Marcus today," he replied, slipping his hands into his pockets awkwardly. She looked at him with slight confusion, but gave a polite nod, obviously unsure of what to make of the situation. "The gardener's tools are by the side shed," she said softly, gesturing behind her. "I didn't realize, well, I'll just leave you to it." Her tone betrayed the fact that she didn't fully understand what was happening, but years of loyal service had taught Maria not to ask too many questions. Marcus just nodded and set off toward the shed, ready to fully embrace his role. An hour into his work, as he was trimming the edges of the garden, Marcus heard voices approaching. He looked up to see Lucas and a young woman at his side, laughing and chatting as they walked down the stone path toward the house. This had to be Anna. She was slender with dark hair that fell in waves around her shoulders, dressed in a casual yet stylish outfit. Her presence seemed to light up Lucas's expression, and Marcus felt a surge of protectiveness. "Hey there." Lucas greeted him with a quick wave. "Anna, this is the new gardener, Marcus. He's just started with us." Marcus could tell Lucas was a bit unsure of how to introduce him, and he couldn't help but chuckle inwardly at the situation. Anna barely glanced at Marcus, her eyes sweeping over him dismissively. She murmured, brushing a lock of hair behind her ear as she quickly turned her attention back to Lucas. "Let's go inside. It's a bit too sunny out here," she said, her tone airy and casual. Marcus remained silent, watching them disappear into the house. The moment was brief, but it was enough for Marcus to pick up on the subtle dismissiveness in Anna's reaction. It didn't sit well with him, and he could already feel the first hint of doubt settling into his mind. Was this just a simple oversight, or did it reveal something deeper about her? The day stretched on, and as Marcus continued his work, he found himself observing Anna whenever she stepped outside. At one point, she came out with a phone in her hand, barely glancing at him as she passed. "Excuse me," she said curtly when Marcus was in her way, not pausing to make eye contact or acknowledge him further. She kept her focus on her phone, texting rapidly and sighing in irritation when a message didn't send right away. At another point, Marcus noticed her interacting with the other staff members. Maria had come outside to sweep the patio, and as she passed Anna, she offered a friendly smile. But Anna simply raised an eyebrow, giving a faint, uninterested nod. It was subtle but telling. To Marcus, it was clear. She seemed to view the staff as a nuisance, not even worthy of polite conversation. It stung a bit to watch. Marcus had worked hard to foster a sense of respect and equality within his household, and seeing Anna disregard the people he valued left a sour taste in his mouth. He began to question what kind of influence she might have on Lucas. By the late afternoon, Marcus was finishing up his tasks when Anna returned to the garden alone. This time, she seemed more relaxed, with no phone in hand and her face softened by the golden hour light. Marcus considered starting a conversation, just to get a sense of her personality beyond her surface interactions. "Beautiful day, isn't it?" he offered, looking up from his work and giving her a friendly nod. Anna glanced at him, her gaze cool and distant. "I guess," she replied with a dismissive shrug. Her tone was clipped, as if making conversation with him was a bother. She shifted her weight, crossing her arms as she looked around, visibly uninterested in continuing the exchange. For Marcus, it was a small moment, but it confirmed what he had started to suspect. Anna seemed to have little respect for those she perceived as below her. There was no warmth in her tone, no hint of curiosity about the people around her. It was a disappointment, and Marcus made a mental note of the encounter. As the sun began to set, Lucas came outside to call her for dinner, his face lighting up as he spotted her. She smiled back, her expression immediately softening as she looked at him. Marcus noticed the difference, how her demeanor changed in an instant when she was with Lucas compared to when she spoke to the staff, or apparently even himself. It was an unsettling contrast. Lucas gave Marcus a friendly wave. "See you tomorrow, Marcus?" Thanks for the hard work today, he called, beaming with genuine kindness. It was a reminder of the good heart Lucas had, the openness and respect that Marcus had worked hard to instill in him. Marcus watched as they walked back toward the house, his thoughts swirling. He had come into this experiment hoping to learn more about Anna, and he was already beginning to see the outlines of her character. But now he found himself at a crossroads. Should he wait and see if this first impression was a mistake, or was it a warning he couldn't ignore? The next morning brought with it a mix of anticipation and anxiety. Marcus awoke early, his mind racing with thoughts about Anna and her interactions from the day before. He couldn't shake the feeling that the way she treated others might reflect deeper issues. Still, he reminded himself that it was only a few brief encounters. Perhaps there was more to her than met the eye. As he prepared for the day, Marcus decided to focus on his gardening tasks, hoping that keeping busy would help him process his observations. He stepped outside to find the sun shining brightly, casting a warm glow over the estate. Today, he intended to clear the flower beds and add some fresh mulch, simple tasks that would help him blend in seamlessly. His thoughts wandered back to Lucas, the way his son glowed when he talked about Anna. Despite Marcus's reservations, he couldn't deny that Lucas had found someone special and that alone deserved attention and respect. The morning passed uneventfully, with the familiar sounds of the estate echoing around him. As he worked, he felt the weight of his disguise more heavily than before. Being Marcus the gardener was starting to feel isolating. He missed being able to engage with Lucas and his friends as himself. But he was determined to stick to his plan, no matter how challenging it became. Just before lunch, while wiping sweat from his brow, Marcus heard footsteps approaching. He looked up to see Anna stepping into the garden, her phone still in hand. She paused, glancing around before focusing on him, a slight frown creasing her brow. "Hey," she called out, her tone casual but distant. "You know where the mulch is stored? I was told you'd know." "Sure," Marcus replied, masking his surprise. "It's over by the shed. I can show you." As they walked together, Marcus seized the opportunity to observe her up close. He noticed the way her hair caught the light, the subtle details in her expression. They reached the shed, and as he opened the door, the sight of bags stacked neatly inside drew her attention. "Thanks," Anna said, her voice softer now, perhaps more engaged. "You do a lot of work here." Marcus shrugged, trying to keep the conversation light. "Just trying to keep the place looking nice." He paused, taking a chance. "What do you think of the garden?" "It's a lot of work, but it's rewarding." She hesitated, glancing at the flowers before turning back to him. "It's pretty, I guess. Not really my thing, though." There was a hint of disinterest in her tone, but Marcus pressed on. "Do you enjoy nature? Or are you more of a city person?" Anna hesitated again, looking off into the distance as if searching for the right answer. "I mean, I like being outdoors when I can, but I prefer the hustle and bustle, you know? There's always something happening." Marcus felt a pang of disappointment. This time, her response seemed dismissive. It felt as if she was dismissing the beauty of the world outside for the allure of urban life. He couldn't help but wonder how that perspective shaped her values and interactions with others. "Sometimes," he ventured, "it's nice to slow down and appreciate the little things. The flowers, the trees, they have their own beauty." Anna met his gaze for a brief moment, and Marcus could see a flicker of something. Curiosity, perhaps? But it faded quickly as she glanced back at her phone, tapping away distractedly. "Yeah, maybe," she replied, her voice now monotone. "But it's not really practical, is it?" Marcus was taken aback, but he didn't want to push her too hard. He could feel the wall she had built around herself, and he was starting to wonder whether they would ever come down. After a few more minutes of small talk, Lucas appeared, his presence instantly shifting the dynamic. "Hey, Anna, ready for lunch?" he called, smiling brightly. "Yeah, just finishing up here," she replied, glancing back at Marcus. "Thanks for the help, Marcus." As they walked away, Marcus couldn't help but feel the contrast between Lucas's warmth and Anna's aloofness. He watched them disappear into the house, his heart heavy with uncertainty. The rest of the day was spent in quiet reflection. Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that his son deserved more than what Anna was offering. But the true challenge lay ahead. He needed to figure out how to convey his concerns without jeopardizing his relationship with Lucas. That evening, after dinner, Marcus found himself alone in the garden. He tended to the flowers, digging his hands into the soil as the sun dipped below the horizon. The quiet was soothing, but his mind raced with thoughts of the day. Would he confront Lucas about Anna, or should he give him more time? As the stars began to twinkle above, he realized he had to tread carefully. Lucas's happiness meant everything, and Marcus had to find a way to protect that without coming off as overbearing. Tomorrow, he'd have another chance to observe Anna and learn more about her. Hopefully, something would click. Perhaps there was still a chance to uncover the truth beneath the surface. The following days unfolded in a blur of routine. Marcus continued to work diligently in the garden while observing Anna's interactions with Lucas. Each moment felt like a careful balance between keeping his identity hidden and ensuring his son was happy. One evening, as dusk settled in, Lucas approached Marcus with excitement painted across his face. "Dad, we're having a little gathering at the house this weekend. Anna invited some friends over. It'll be fun." Marcus's heart raced. A gathering meant he'd have to interact with more people, including Anna's friends. It was a challenge he wasn't sure he was ready for, but he didn't want to dampen Lucas's enthusiasm. "That sounds great, son. What's the plan?" Lucas shrugged, his energy palpable. "Just some snacks, games, and music. I think it'll be awesome. You should join us too." Marcus smiled. "I'll be around, but you know I'm more of a behind-the-scenes guy." Lucas laughed. "You always say that, but I bet you'd have a blast. Just think about it." As the weekend approached, Marcus felt the familiar mix of apprehension and curiosity. He hoped this gathering might offer him more insights into Anna and her relationship with Lucas. On the day of the event, he made sure the garden was looking its best, as if his hard work could somehow influence the atmosphere of the evening. When the guests began to arrive, Marcus found himself tucked away in the corner of the garden, working on the last few details. He could hear the sounds of laughter and music filtering through the open doors. It felt like a different world, one he was both a part of and apart from. As the sun set and the stars began to twinkle, Marcus decided to venture inside to grab a drink. As he stepped into the house, he was immediately struck by the energy of the gathering. Lucas was in the center, surrounded by his friends, and Anna was at his side, laughing and chatting animatedly. For a moment, Marcus stood back, taking in the scene. He was struck by how radiant Anna appeared in the warm glow of the living room lights. Her laughter rang out, genuine and bright, and for a second, Marcus felt the urge to approach her. But he hesitated, unsure of how to bridge the gap between them. Just then, Lucas spotted him and waved enthusiastically. "Dad, come join us." Marcus couldn't resist the infectious excitement. He walked over, and as he did, Anna turned and greeted him with a smile that felt warmer than before. "Hey, Marcus, glad you could make it." "Thanks for inviting me," he replied, trying to keep his tone light. "Looks like a great time." "It is. We're just about to play a game. You should join us," Lucas urged, pulling Marcus into the circle of friends. The game involved a series of lighthearted challenges and trivia questions, creating a lively atmosphere filled with laughter and teasing. Marcus found himself loosening up, enjoying the camaraderie. As the rounds continued, he caught glimpses of Anna's personality, her competitive spirit, her sense of humor, and even moments of vulnerability when she miscalculated a challenge. Halfway through the game, Lucas posed a question that made Marcus chuckle. "Okay, everyone, if you could have dinner with any celebrity, who would it be?" One by one, the answers came pouring out. Anna confidently declared, "Beyoncé, obviously. Who wouldn't want to have dinner with the Queen?" The group erupted in laughter, and Marcus couldn't help but admire her confidence. When it was his turn, he hesitated, feeling the weight of his disguise. "I'd say anyone who can teach me how to garden better." The laughter continued, but there was a genuine warmth in the room. As the game progressed, Marcus noticed Anna stealing glances at him. Each time, there was a flicker of something: interest, curiosity, or perhaps even recognition. He couldn't be sure, but it filled him with hope. As the evening continued, the music shifted to a more mellow tune, and the atmosphere softened. Lucas pulled Anna away to dance, and Marcus watched them, his heart swelling with pride for his son. In that moment, he realized that his apprehensions about Anna were rooted in fear of losing his son's happiness. Lucas had grown so much, and it was clear he cherished his connection with Anna. After a while, Lucas returned, panting from the dance. "Did you see us? We were amazing." Marcus chuckled. "I'm sure you were. You both looked happy." "Yeah, you should ask Anna to dance next," Lucas suggested, a teasing glint in his eye. Marcus laughed, the idea feeling absurd. "I think I'll leave that to you young folks." As the night wore on, the energy shifted again. Laughter and chatter filled the room, and then someone suggested a truth or dare game. The excitement was palpable as everyone gathered in a circle, and Marcus felt a mix of anxiety and amusement at the prospect. When it came to Anna's turn, she picked truth. "What's something you've never told anyone?" Everyone leaned in, captivated. Anna thought for a moment before responding. "I guess I've always wanted to be more than just a pretty face. I want to be taken seriously, you know? Sometimes it feels like people only see the surface." Her words hung in the air, resonating with everyone. Marcus sensed a vulnerability behind her bravado, and for the first time, he saw a glimpse of the person beneath the confident exterior. As the game continued, Marcus realized that the evening had been more than just entertainment. It was a revelation. He understood now that while Anna might have her flaws, she was also searching for deeper connections, just like everyone else. By the end of the night, as the guests began to leave, Marcus felt a sense of relief mixed with anticipation. He knew he needed to talk to Lucas about his observations, but he also sensed a shift. Anna was more complex than he had initially thought, and perhaps there was still hope for understanding her better. With that in mind, he took a deep breath, ready to embrace whatever came next. In the days that followed the gathering, Marcus felt a shift in the air. The connection he had observed between Lucas and Anna lingered in his mind, stirring a sense of curiosity about the woman who had become such an integral part of his son's life. As he tended to the garden, he reflected on their evening together, replaying moments in his mind that sparked both admiration and intrigue. One afternoon, while Marcus was pruning the rose bushes, Lucas came running out of the house, his face flushed with excitement. "Dad, Anna invited us to the farmer's market this weekend. Can we go?" The request caught Marcus off guard. He had imagined his weekends would consist of quiet gardening and solitary reflection, not outings filled with laughter and chatter. But Lucas's enthusiasm was infectious, and Marcus found himself nodding. "Sure, that sounds like fun." Lucas beamed. "Awesome. I'll let Anna know." He dashed back inside, leaving Marcus with a mixture of anticipation and apprehension. The morning of the market arrived, and Marcus felt a mix of nerves as they prepared to leave. He had decided to dress casually, opting for a comfortable shirt and jeans. Lucas, on the other hand, had taken extra care with his appearance, clearly eager to impress Anna. As they arrived at the market, the vibrant colors and bustling energy surrounded them. Stalls filled with fresh produce, handmade crafts, and aromatic treats lined the path, and Marcus couldn't help but feel the warmth of the community spirit. Lucas immediately spotted Anna near a stall selling colorful flowers and dashed over, leaving Marcus to trail behind. "Hey, you made it!" Anna greeted them, her smile bright and welcoming. She wore a sun hat that accentuated her features, and her laughter blended seamlessly with the sounds of the market. "Wouldn't miss it for the world," Marcus replied, trying to match her enthusiasm. The trio wandered through the market, exploring various stalls. Lucas eagerly pointed out his favorite vendors, while Anna shared her recommendations. Marcus found himself drawn into their banter, and slowly, he began to relax. At one stall, they stumbled upon a local honey vendor, and Anna insisted they sampled different flavors. "You have to try the lavender-infused honey. It's amazing," she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. As they tasted the honey, Marcus watched Lucas and Anna interact. The way Lucas looked at her filled him with pride, and the ease with which Anna engaged with them both made him feel increasingly comfortable. It was as if they had created their own little world amid the bustling market. After visiting several stalls, they took a break under a large oak tree, the shade providing relief from the sun. Lucas pulled out a few snacks he had bought and shared them with Anna, who laughed and teased him about his choices. Marcus sat back, enjoying the warmth of the moment. "So, Marcus," Anna began, turning her attention to him, "what do you think of the market? Isn't it a great place to find local goodies?" "It is. I didn't realize how much variety there is here," he replied, genuinely impressed. "It's nice to see the community come together like this." Anna nodded, her expression softening. "Yeah, I love supporting local businesses. It makes me feel connected to the community." The conversation flowed easily, and for the first time, Marcus felt a genuine connection with Anna. He found himself opening up about his gardening, sharing tips and tricks, and even discussing his plans for the future. Anna listened intently, her curiosity piqued. As the afternoon wore on, they made their way to a nearby park where they could enjoy the snacks they had gathered. The laughter and conversation continued, but something shifted when they sat down. Marcus caught a glimpse of Anna looking at Lucas, a tenderness in her gaze that stirred something deep within him. "Do you want to know a secret?" Anna asked, leaning closer to Lucas, her voice playful. "Sure." Lucas leaned in, eager to hear more. "I've always wanted to start my own garden," she confessed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "I've seen how beautiful yours is, Marcus, and it inspired me." Marcus was taken aback, surprised by her admission. "Really? Gardening can be quite rewarding. I'd be happy to help you get started." "Seriously? That would be amazing," Anna replied, her enthusiasm evident. Lucas grinned. "See, Dad? You two should team up. You could have the best garden in town." Marcus chuckled, feeling a warmth in his chest. "I'm all for that. We could plan a day to start." As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue across the park, Marcus realized that the day had been transformative. He had stepped out of his comfort zone and engaged with Anna, creating a bond that felt genuine. He could see the potential for friendship blossoming, and it made him hopeful for what was to come. On the drive home, Lucas chattered excitedly about the day, recounting every moment with infectious energy. Marcus listened intently, soaking in his son's joy. "Dad, isn't Anna the coolest?" Lucas asked, a wide grin on his face. "She's definitely interesting," Marcus agreed, smiling back. "I can see why you like her so much." As they pulled into their driveway, Marcus felt a sense of peace wash over him. The day had not only brought him closer to Lucas, but had also opened a door to understanding Anna. He was beginning to see her in a new light, not just as Lucas's friend, but as someone who shared his passion for gardening and community. That night, as he settled into bed, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that a new chapter was beginning in his life. He had ventured out of his shell, and it had opened up possibilities he had never imagined. Perhaps, with time, he could forge a deeper connection with Anna while still being the protective father he had always been. The thought made him smile as he drifted off to sleep, dreaming of gardens filled with color and laughter. The following week was filled with a sense of anticipation. Marcus and Anna had planned their first gardening day, and Lucas was bursting with excitement. Marcus had gathered tools, seeds, and soil, eager to share his passion with Anna while teaching Lucas about the art of gardening. On the day of their garden adventure, the sun shone brightly, and a gentle breeze rustled through the trees. Marcus set up a small area in the backyard, marking where they would plant various flowers and vegetables. Lucas was busy organizing the tools while Anna arrived, her sun hat in place and a smile that lit up the morning. "Ready to dig in?" Anna asked playfully, holding up a small spade. "Absolutely," Marcus replied, feeling the energy of the day buzz between them. As they began working, Marcus shared stories about each plant they were planting. He explained how to care for them, what they needed to thrive, and the joy of watching them grow. Anna listened attentively, asking questions and sharing her own thoughts. Lucas, meanwhile, chimed in with his childlike enthusiasm, soaking up every bit of knowledge. The morning flew by, filled with laughter and teamwork. Anna proved to be surprisingly adept at planting, her fingers skillfully placing seeds in the soil. Marcus found himself impressed not only by her gardening skills, but also by her genuine interest in learning. "I never knew gardening could be this fun," Anna exclaimed, wiping her brow after a particularly energetic planting session. Marcus chuckled. It can be a great escape. There's something therapeutic about getting your hands dirty and connecting with nature. Just as they were finishing up, Anna looked around the garden, her expression thoughtful. You know, Marcus, I've been thinking a lot about what you said at the market, about community and connection. Marcus paused, curious. What do you mean? Well, she began, I've always felt a bit out of place since I moved here. I left behind my family and friends to start anew, and sometimes it gets lonely. But today it feels different. I feel like I'm part of something. Her honesty struck a chord with Marcus. He understood the feeling of being out of place. He had experienced it too after losing his wife. I get that, he admitted. I felt that way after my wife passed. It's hard to find your footing again. Anna looked at him, surprise etched on her face. I had no idea. I'm sorry, Marcus. It's okay, he reassured her. It's been a journey, but I'm learning to rebuild. Just like this garden, I suppose. He gestured around them, a newfound sense of purpose blooming within him. As they wrapped up their gardening for the day, Lucas raced around the yard, his laughter echoing in the air. Marcus and Anna watched him, smiles gracing their faces. Your son is a treasure, Anna said, her voice warm. He has such a bright spirit. He really does, Marcus replied, pride swelling in his chest. He's been my reason to keep going. Later that evening, after Anna had left, Marcus and Lucas sat on the porch, the sun setting in vibrant hues of orange and pink. Lucas was chattering about their day, recounting every detail with uncontainable excitement. Dad, can we invite Anna over more? She's so cool, Lucas exclaimed, eyes sparkling. Marcus chuckled, feeling a mix of amusement and warmth. Sure, buddy. I think we can make that happen. As they settled into the quiet of the evening, Marcus reflected on the day. He felt a sense of hope he hadn't experienced in a long time. Connecting with Anna had allowed him to open up in ways he never thought possible. He realized that maybe she could be more than just a friend to Lucas. She might just bring light into his life as well. Over the next few weeks, their gardening sessions became a regular occurrence. Anna started bringing her own seeds and plants, eager to contribute to the garden's growth. The backyard flourished under their care, and so did their friendship. One afternoon, while they were tending to the plants, Marcus noticed a change in himself. He was smiling more, laughing more, and feeling a sense of joy he hadn't thought possible. Anna had become a significant part of their lives, and Lucas adored her. As the weeks rolled on, Marcus felt compelled to invite Anna to a family dinner, hoping to deepen their connection. He wanted to show her more about his life, to give her a glimpse into the world he had built for himself and Lucas. That evening, as they sat around the table, Lucas animatedly shared stories about school, while Marcus watched Anna's laughter fill the room. There was a warmth in the air, an unmistakable chemistry blossoming between them. After dinner, while cleaning up, Marcus gathered his courage. Anna, would you like to join us for our weekly movie night? It would be great to have you. I'd love that, she replied, her eyes lighting up. As they settled on the couch later that evening, surrounded by popcorn and laughter, Marcus felt a sense of contentment wash over him. The bond they were forming felt effortless, a connection he had longed for but never expected to find again. With each shared moment, he could see the walls he had built around himself slowly crumbling. The laughter and warmth that filled their home began to feel like a new beginning, a chance to embrace life once more. As the credits rolled and Lucas snuggled into his father's side, Marcus couldn't help but smile. The garden they had nurtured together mirrored the growing relationships around him, rooted in care, blossoming with love. As the days turned into weeks, Marcus and Anna's friendship deepened. Their gardening sessions transformed into heartfelt conversations, laughter, and shared moments that enriched their lives. Lucas adored having Anna around, often referring to her as his garden buddy, and Marcus found solace in her presence. One sunny Saturday morning, as they tended to the vibrant flowers and budding vegetables, Anna proposed an idea that sent a rush of excitement through Marcus. What if we host a small gathering? You know, invite a few friends over to celebrate our garden and the hard work we've put into it. Marcus felt a wave of nerves wash over him. A gathering? I haven't hosted anyone in a while, he admitted, his mind racing with thoughts of how to make it perfect. It'll be fun. We can make it casual. Just some snacks, music, and good company. Anna encouraged, her enthusiasm infectious. After a moment of hesitation, Marcus nodded, a smile creeping onto his face. Okay, let's do it. We can have it next weekend. It'll be great to share what we've accomplished. Over the next week, they worked tirelessly to prepare for the gathering. They trimmed the plants, organized the yard, and planned a simple menu. Lucas was ecstatic, buzzing around with excitement as he helped with the preparations. As the day approached, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling of apprehension. He wanted everything to go well, but doubts lingered in his mind. Would people enjoy themselves? Would they like his home? What if he failed to make a good impression? On the day of the gathering, the sun shone brightly, casting a warm glow over the yard. Marcus set up tables adorned with colorful tablecloths and placed platters of food that Anna had expertly prepared. The atmosphere was festive, filled with laughter and anticipation as friends and neighbors began to arrive. Anna's infectious energy helped ease Marcus's nerves. She greeted guests with a radiant smile, introducing them to Lucas, who proudly showed off their garden and his favorite plants. As the evening wore on, the garden became a vibrant hub of laughter and connection. People mingled, sharing stories and enjoying the fresh air. Marcus felt a sense of pride as he watched everyone enjoy the fruits of their labor. It was a beautiful sight, one he had longed to create but never imagined could come to life. Later in the evening, as the sun began to set, casting a golden hue across the yard, Marcus found himself standing next to Anna, sipping on lemonade. They exchanged glances, their bond palpable amidst the joy surrounding them. "This is incredible," Marcus said, feeling a swell of gratitude. "I couldn't have done this without you." Anna turned to him, her expression warm. "You did this, Marcus. You opened your home and your heart. It's been wonderful seeing you embrace life again." The compliment stirred something within him, a mix of emotions swirling in his chest. "I owe a lot to you, Anna. You've brought joy back into my life, and I can't thank you enough." Just then, Lucas bounded over, excitement radiating from him. "Dad, can we show everyone the vegetable patch? It's so cool." Marcus chuckled, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. "Of course. Lead the way, buddy." As they walked toward the vegetable patch, the laughter of their guests echoed around them. Marcus felt a sense of belonging he hadn't felt in years. He had created a home filled with love, laughter, and connection, something he thought was lost forever. As the night continued, Anna and Marcus found moments to steal away from the crowd. They shared stories and laughter, discussing everything from gardening tips to their dreams for the future. In those quiet exchanges, Marcus could feel the connection between them deepen. After everyone had left and the yard was quiet once more, Marcus and Lucas began to clean up. Anna insisted on helping, her energy undiminished by the festivities. "You did an amazing job, Marcus," she said, her eyes sparkling. "I think everyone had a great time." Marcus nodded, feeling a wave of contentment wash over him. "It was a team effort. I'm glad you were here to share it with us." As they worked side by side, Anna looked up at him, her expression turning serious. "I've been thinking, I really enjoy spending time with you and Lucas. It feels like we're building something special together." Marcus's heart raced at her words. "I feel the same way. You've become such an important part of our lives." The moment hung between them, charged with unspoken feelings. Marcus took a deep breath, contemplating how to express what was in his heart. "I don't want to rush things, but I'd like to see where this goes. I want you to be a part of our lives if you're willing." Anna smiled, a soft blush creeping onto her cheeks. "I'd like that too, Marcus. I think we have something beautiful here." As they finished tidying up, Marcus felt a renewed sense of hope. The journey ahead was uncertain, but for the first time in years, he was ready to embrace it. With Anna by his side, he felt like he could face whatever challenges lay ahead. With the gathering behind them, Marcus and Anna found themselves in a comfortable rhythm. Their friendship blossomed into something deeper, each day filled with shared moments of joy and discovery. Lucas thrived with Anna's influence, growing more confident and curious about the world around him. One afternoon, As they sat on the porch watching Lucas play in the yard, Anna turned to Marcus with a thoughtful expression. Have you ever thought about taking a trip somewhere? Just to get away and explore? Marcus hesitated. Traveling felt like a distant dream, overshadowed by the weight of his past. I haven't really considered it. Life's been a bit hectic lately. Anna leaned closer, her enthusiasm infectious. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant, just a weekend getaway. I think it could do you good to step away for a bit, to breathe and enjoy life outside this routine. Marcus contemplated her suggestion. The idea of traveling stirred something deep within him, a longing for adventure and exploration he had suppressed for so long. You really think it could help? Absolutely. Besides, I'd love to experience new places with you and Lucas. It could be a chance for all of us to bond even more, Anna replied, her eyes sparkling with excitement. After a few days of discussing potential destinations, they settled on a quaint cabin by a serene lake a few hours away. It was a place Anna had visited before, and her fond memories painted a picture of tranquility and adventure. As they prepared for the trip, Marcus felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. The thought of stepping out of his comfort zone was daunting, but he wanted to embrace this new chapter of his life. He realized he was ready to create more memories, free from the shadows of his past. The day of the trip arrived, and Marcus, Anna, and Lucas loaded the car with bags, snacks, and a sense of adventure. Lucas's enthusiasm was palpable as he bounced in his seat, eagerly asking questions about the cabin and the activities they would do. After a few hours on the road, they arrived at the cabin, nestled amidst tall trees with the sun glistening on the lake. The beauty of the place took Marcus's breath away. As they stepped out of the car, a sense of peace washed over him. This place is amazing, Lucas exclaimed, running toward the water's edge. Anna smiled at Marcus, her eyes shining with joy. I told you it would be worth it. As they settled in, the trio explored the area, discovering hidden trails, breathtaking views, and the calming sounds of nature. They spent their days hiking, fishing, and enjoying picnics by the lake. Each moment was filled with laughter and lightness, creating a bond that felt unbreakable. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Marcus found himself sitting on the porch with Anna. The beauty of the moment was overwhelming, and he felt grateful for the journey that had brought them here. Anna, I can't thank you enough for encouraging this trip. It's been life-changing, Marcus said, his voice filled with sincerity. She looked at him, her expression tender. I'm just happy to see you finding joy again. You deserve it, Marcus. The conversation flowed easily between them, filled with laughter and shared stories. Anna opened up about her own dreams and aspirations, revealing a side of herself that Marcus had longed to know. As the night wore on, the stars twinkled above, creating a magical backdrop for their connection. Have you ever thought about what your dream life looks like? Anna asked, gazing at the stars. Marcus paused, considering her question. I guess I've always focused on survival rather than dreaming. But now, I want to build a life filled with love and adventure. I want Lucas to grow up happy and free. Anna smiled softly, her eyes reflecting the starlight. You're already doing that. Just by being here, by being present, you're creating a beautiful life for him. In that moment, Marcus felt a shift within himself. He realized that he was no longer defined by his past. The shame and hurt that had once consumed him were gradually being replaced by hope and possibility. As they continued to talk, Marcus felt a warmth spread through him, a sense of belonging he had longed for. He knew that Anna was more than just a friend. She was a partner in this new journey. He wanted to share not only his life with her, but also his dreams and aspirations. As the days turned into a week, their bond grew stronger, woven together by shared experiences and understanding. The trip became a defining moment for Marcus, allowing him to shed the remnants of his past and embrace a future filled with love and possibilities. On their last night at the cabin, they gathered around a fire, the crackling flames illuminating their faces. Lucas roasted marshmallows, his laughter ringing in the night air, while Marcus and Anna exchanged glances filled with unspoken words. As the fire began to dim, Marcus took a deep breath, summoning the courage to speak from his heart. Anna, I want you to know how much you mean to me. You've brought light into my life, and I can't imagine a future without you and Lucas. Her gaze softened, and she smiled, a warmth radiating between them. I feel the same way, Marcus. You've changed my life too. In that moment, surrounded by the beauty of nature and the laughter of their child, Marcus realized that he was finally ready to embrace the love and happiness he had long denied himself. With Anna by his side, he was ready to face whatever the future held. As they returned home, Marcus felt a renewed sense of purpose and joy. He was no longer just surviving. He was truly living. Together with Anna and Lucas, he was ready to build a life filled with love, adventure, and countless new beginnings.